Hi, everyone, and welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope that you're all doing well and that you enjoyed a beautiful holiday season and are getting ready for a beautiful new year. I just wanted to hop on today to share some guidance that I received from my spirit team on a few topics. The first one is an update on the election results. And for those of you who are not new to the channel, you may have seen my previous videos where I received some information, some guidance on the. So if you're interested in viewing that, I can leave a link in the description box below. The other thing I wanted to share with you was what I received on some of the energetic shifts that are taking place in 2025. And then the last thing that they shared with me was delightful information on embracing curiosity and playful wonderment. So I'll share all of that with you. But first, I wanted just to do a little housekeeping here, especially for the YouTube algorithms and for everybody watching. And that is that any information that I share on this video or on any of my videos are purely from a channel guidance that I receive from my spirit team. So I don't have any insider information or anything like that. So I just wanted you to understand that it is strictly the guidance that I receive from my spirit team. So, as they say, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, with that, I'll get that out of the way. Let's dive in. So, first, I wanted to give you the information that I received on the election results update. In a previous video, you may recall that my spirit team shared insights about the election results, and they had indicated that there was manipulation in the results, but that the truth of all of that would be surfacing. But in the meantime, they said that what would transpire would be difficult to witness, especially for those who may have chosen a more conscious, inclusive, joyful outcome. They also had mentioned that the experience between the election and when the truth does surface would be different. We wouldn't all be experiencing the same thing. And they mentioned that those who chose differently would begin to experience the results of their choices. And again, that this would not be as a punishment, but more of a soul growth. And they wanted to remind us that not all souls learn things in the same way or at the same pace. So that's just a summary of some of the information that I had previously received. Here's the update that I received from them. First of all, they said that things were already in motion for the truth to come out about the election results, and that investigations, both here domestically and on the international stage, were already underway to be able to address the situation and to right this wrong. They also said that more and more souls were having a change of heart about their election choice, and that this was creating a tipping point. They mentioned that there is still a possibility that this shift and this truth would come out prior to the inauguration, but that was really dependent upon that tipping point. So we're moving in that direction, but it's not there. They mentioned that many are still clinging to the old paradigm and not ready to let go of their choices. Old habits are hard to break, and that while things were shifting, it was slow. And that many of those souls were determined to see this through, hoping that their choices would make their life better. But they would be slowly finding out and even are already sensing, fearing that's not the case, that it's not going to make their life better. And I was told that their experiences in the weeks and months to come would be painful, but that on a soul level, these souls chose to step up to learn this lesson before they came here. They knew before they came here what they were signing up, that they wanted to learn this lesson. And that's what's going to be transpiring. As I said, all souls don't learn in the same way or at the same pace. What I was given was that in this process, as this shift away from those choices begins to happen, that we're being asked to honor and even commend these souls for their bravery to make this shift and to learn this lesson. And at one point, there was a phrase, a sentence that they said that I took copious notes on this because I wanted to get this exactly the way that they had expressed this to me. And so I'm going to read this to you. They said they were asking us to, as this shift occurs and more of them begin to see this and to see the truth here and make the shift away from those choices. They were asking us to try to be kind to them and to love them, for their path is a difficult one. But that when they learn this, that they will be assisting in changing the world. And they were it felt very powerful. So I wanted to get that just as I had heard that. The other thing that they said was that the other thing that was maybe slowing down this tipping point that we're moving toward and will eventually get to is that those that chose a more conscious, more inclusive outcome in their choice in the last election, many are feeling exhausted and discouraged, angry, and even a sense of hopelessness. And so those are very dense, heavy, difficult energies that also contribute to the slowing down of this tipping point. So you've got heavy energies on this side and heavy energies on this side when they're clinging to hoping that it's going to be better. And so those things make for a slower tipping point, but that we are moving there. They also said that this shift, this tipping point, will take place over the months to come as this truth begins to surface. However, they said that it could take up to a year, maybe even 2 years for this to fully complete and integrate. And the reason for that is because we, as a country here, have never experienced what's about to take place. We have never been here. We do not have the legal processes for dealing with an election that was manipulated. We don't have processes for decertifying an election. We don't have processes for recalling a president. We don't have any of that. So this is new ground, new territory that will take time. It will probably get mired in the courts and then probably be sent back to Congress to create legislative processes for us to have for this situation and for future situations. But that they wanted us to know that the truth will surface and that the evidence, the truth that surfaces, will almost be irrefutable because it will be based on not only domestic evidence, but international evidence as well. And I think that we probably have seen that. There have been a couple of countries, I believe, recently who had elections where international intelligence was given to them to show that there was election interference. And I believe in one country, at least, uh, election was recalled and they had to, or they are in the process of redoing it. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't have insider information, so I want YouTube to be clear on that. But that again, my guides are saying that the truth is going to surface, and it also felt like um, that truth is not far away, is not far off. The process to have that be complete and rectified is further off because there's a lot of legal things that need to take place. But that the truth itself is not that far off. And I keep asking for a time frame. And if I get one, I will certainly let you know. But they've made it clear that so much is dependent upon free will and this tipping point that we're moving toward that is dependent upon how quickly souls move to that place. So that's what I received with regard to the election. The next thing that I wanted to share is what my spirit team had to say about energetic shifts taking place in 2025. They said that 2025 is going to mark a major turning point on our plane, on our planet, on our dimension. And they've said that our decisions and awareness and our intention are going to have a major effect in shifting the landscape of the year ahead. They are asking us to be conscious and intentional about where we place our thoughts and awareness this year. They mentioned that on a collective level, much of our collective circumstances on the planet may feel and look similar, but that on a personal level, with our personal experiences, they will be shaped and brought into, made into form by our intention and our ability or capability to allow what we need, what we wanted to learn to transpire. And they're saying to us that we're going to be experiencing and having the opportunity to learn many of the things that we incarnated for, what we wanted to learn, and that they're asking us to go with it, to go with the flow when these things come up, to work with that energy, to work with those lessons, to allow them to transpire, and that doing so will give us a smoother way to learn those lessons, to move through those experiences, versus being in resistance. And we can do that. But when we're in resistance, we are still going to have the opportunity to learn those lessons, but it may be in a much more difficult way if that's what we want. And again, it's not about judgment. We, as souls, we learn things in the way that we learn them best. And sometimes we feel like we want to learn this in order to integrate it in a more difficult way, and that's okay. So they're asking us to try and go with the flow. Now, the other thing that they mentioned, which I found fascinating, was they mentioned that lessons this year were going to be coming very fast, that it was almost going to feel surreal. And it kind of felt like time this year, the concept of time was going to feel a bit wonky because it was just going to be like swoosh. It was going to be fast. Things were going to be coming at us fast, especially on certainly collectively, but also on a personal level. And they were saying that the reason for that is because we are reaching a tipping point, and that collectively we are ready, and most of us are ready and willing to take that next step in our human ascension. So those are the energetic shifts that will be taking place this year. And then the last thing that they mentioned, which was just delightful to take in, was about embracing curiosity and playful wonder. They mentioned that play and curiosity are very powerful tools for helping us to raise our vibration, that they place us in a state of wonder and timelessness and curiosity, and that they help us to shift into a higher frequency, one of more openness and possibility and joy. They also mentioned that these can be very powerful for us when we're facing challenges or challenging situations or challenging people, that some of those circumstances may tend to bring up heavier emotions like fear or frustration, anger, which can take you down the victim rabbit hole. Why is this happening to me? Or the anger rabbit hole. Or we can decide to get curious about what's come up, get curious about the situation. Like, say, for example, something has come up that you had things set for one way and you were, you know, on a schedule, or you're doing, and something came up and just messed up what you had planned. And so you're like, oh no, why is this happening to me? Versus to maybe just stop in that moment and to get curious about it and maybe ask yourself, I wonder where this is leading to, or I wonder how this is going to turn out in my favor. Again, because the universe is always working on our behalf. Things aren't happening to us, they're happening for us. So I'm sure that if we take a look at something that may have happened in our life in the past that was not the way we wanted it to, and then years later, months even later or weeks later, take a look at it and you think, oh my goodness, if that hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened, and then I wouldn't have this, or I wouldn't be here, and it all worked out in your favor. So to think, I wonder how this is going to turn out in my favor, or if something really pisses you off, to think, I wonder what I wanted to learn from this. Or if somebody else strikes anger in you, to maybe look at it as, I wonder what that soul wanted to learn from this. So we're being asked to get curious about the circumstances before us. Just try playing with that for a while, because allowing yourself to get curious about a situation when they come up allows the energy of that situation to move through us, and out, versus being in that anger and replaying it in your head and carrying that heavy, dense energy with you. when you get curious about something, you can look at it and you allow it to pass through you and to flow through you, and maybe even receive some insight about the situation that you may have missed or would never have even thought about had you still been hanging on to the anger, the frustration that it brought up. So we're being asked to be playful, to be curious, to stay in wonder and in awe for the unfolding of things in your life, to just dance with that, dance with your life. So that's what I received there. Quite a bit that came in. So I'm delighted to share that with you. And I want to thank you so much for being here. And I hope that this information is helpful for you. Feel free to share any comments that you might have in the comments below. I love hearing from you and responding to you. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you'd like. Please like the video if you liked the video, the information. And again, for those that may not have seen the previous videos on the election information that I received, I'll leave a link in the description box below. And so I am just sending you all a lot of light and love, curiosity for the year ahead, the journey ahead. And let's keep dancing. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.